and I'll show you guys the early stages of me planning this short story. I want this to be quite a calming, comforting story with maybe a bit of a dark, mysterious undertone. I'm really excited for the edits that are happening on Project Teacup. Hello everyone and welcome to another vlog. Welcome to a day in my life. It's been quite a while since I've done a sort of laid back, ordinary day in my life vlog. Today's going to be a writing vlog and I'm going to fill you in on what's been going on and what my plans are while I start eating breakfast. So kind of hilariously, in the last vloggy video that I did, the Q&A that I did where I spoke about getting a literary agent and everything that's going to be going on for this year, I said that we had had some bad luck, things going wrong and family members getting injured and all of this stuff. And I was like, fingers crossed that all of our bad luck is gone. Well, it turns out that like right after I filmed that video, I got COVID, and I got it like not really badly, but enough that it had like a massive impact on my work, and I was just like on this couch for several days and my throat and voice were just kind of ruined. So I think I'm entirely back to normal now. It's been a few weeks. I'm totally good. But I did actually do a workshop the other night, and thank goodness that I got COVID with enough time for me to recover from it properly before doing this workshop. But I do these workshops for the community and they're free and they're at the library and I really enjoy doing them. But it's a lot of talking. It's like an hour and a half workshop and sometimes they run over and I talk to people, and I did this workshop the other day. Actually, I'm wearing the exact same outfit and afterwards my voice was just ruined. So thankfully today I'm back to normal. Everything's good. I think today is the first day where I haven't had any fatigue. I'm totally 100% good and I'm very happy about that. We have a lot of fun stuff that I want to work on today. As I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of writing stuff. I'm going to be working on Project Teacup. I think I want to go to a cafe and work on that maybe a bit later in the day. I'd like to go to Cielo today because I love that cafe. And I'm also going to be doing some work on a short story. So one of the things that I want to do this year is make sure that I write at least 2 short stories. I'm going to be speaking about my goals in 2024 and planning and stuff a little bit later on in this video because I want to share with you guys some of the things I want to do this year. But one of the things I do definitely want to do is write maybe 2 short stories in total. The first of which I'm going to start working on today. I'm going to be planning that story today. I'm actually going to be showing you guys the early stages, how I do that visually, and so I'm excited about that. And then on top of that, I just have some work stuff to do. I'm going to be editing some of that workshop this afternoon, hopefully. I'm very excited to be back to normal, getting back into running. I tried to go for a run last week after having COVID and it was not a good time. My fitness was so bad. But yeah, my plan is to start working on short story stuff to begin with and then moving on to Project Teacup. So let's finish eating breakfast and then I can grab some tea and I'll show you guys the early stages of me planning this short story.
Our creativity. It's a wonder that any of us ever find the gall to make anything. 3 years before The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart was published, I entered the first 3 chapters into a competition run by one of Australia's big publishing houses. The value of making generous assumptions about our outer critics is that that it can be very powerful if you've absorbed painful outer criticism to give yourself the chance to release it in a way that comes from the people-pleasing place inside me. Add imagination and emotions make us capable of working magic.
Hello and welcome to my desk. We've now gotten to the fun portion of the video where I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my processes for how I plan stories. Now this is something that you guys have asked me about for absolutely ages, and it's been really tricky because most of the time I'm working on Project Teacup and I can't really give you very much insight at all into that story because that would mean I would be giving you spoilers and revealing titles and all these kinds of things that I don't think I should be revealing just yet. But I figured if I let you guys in on the early processes of planning a short story, I could give you more insight into what I actually do. So I am a visual learner. I like using digital tools in order to plot out everything. This is the process that I kind of developed while working on on Project Teacup. It's what I'm going to be using for Project Spiegeltemp, which is the next novel I'm going to work on, but it's what I've been doing recently for my short stories. Which brings us to the sponsor of today's video, which is Millernote. I was so excited when Millernote reached out to me. This is a product I really love. As I said, I love using visual tools in order to plot my stories. So fundamentally, Millernote is a tool for organizing creative projects, and it's especially good for visual learners. So for me, I like having everything on one screen. I like color coding. I like placing all of my little sticky notes of my plot beats and my characters all in a place that I can see it, and Millernote is perfect for this process for me. So I'm gonna start recording my screen. Hello, this is me coming to you from the little tiny square in the corner. This is the homepage that I have. You can see I have some stories set up here. Spiegeltemp hasn't really been touched, but today I'm gonna be starting a new story. This one is going to be a story about a changeling. Changelings are these creatures in folklore where basically human babies have been swapped for fae or fairies. I love the allegory here with changelings. I think they're a really interesting folklore creature. So that is the short story I'm going to be planning with you, and then after this I'm going to be doing a little bit of writing. So I used to use notebooks, so many different things to try and do this process at the early planning stages, but I always found them way too rigid. As I said, I'm a visual learner. I get very overwhelmed if things aren't on one page all in front of me, and I tried to do this with a big physical board, but the problem with a board like this is that it's absolutely massive. You cannot bring it with you to the library or a cafe, which is where Millernote is absolutely perfect for me, and I love it. I'm now going to jump in and start setting up my short story, and I'll pop in and out to let you guys know what I'm doing. So let's get started by just setting up some basics for the story. So I've got my little premise here. Stardew Valley meets Gothic fairy story set in 2024. So I want this to be set in Australia, in the countryside, and I love the beginning of Stardew Valley. I love the whole trope of the disenfranchised office worker being burnt out, not enjoying their job, and then they get a call to say that they've inherited a whole farm, and so they have to start this journey learning how to be a farmer and connecting with the local community. I'm now going to add some to-dos of things I need to do. Create a mood board. Yes, I'd like to add a title. Changeling to do. Plan and plot the story. Draft 1 is hopefully going to be about 2,500 words. Let's grab some music. I found a playlist earlier, so I'll grab that link. So we'll go over here and we'll add audio, and we drag that guy on there and paste, enter, and there's our music. Here I am jotting down plot points onto a note. I'm using the mice quotient to structure this story, and I'm adding in general themes as well, and a little description of the mice quotient there too. I really appreciate that Millernote automatically color picks from the imagery in your board, so it makes everything visually cohesive. I'm now going to put a couple more boards into here. So let's click and drag this guy. This is going to be a mood board. I have a bunch of photos that I've saved from various places on the internet, so I'm going to grab those. So that is my mood board all done. We can see a lot of very green, cozy imagery here. I want this to be quite a calming, comforting story with maybe a bit of a dark, mysterious undertone. So let's hop back to the changeling story. And then I also want to do a board on characters. Because this is a short story, it's mostly going to be focused on our main character, who I think I might call Max. We're going to try and do some brainstorming for his character journey. So that is the character board all done. We're going to hop back to our main board. So we've got mood board, characters, and we're going to add in a table so that when I start submitting this to places, I can actually document that here. Okay, and that's it done. Those are our boards all complete. So this is the master board that I have, which has all of like my high level information. And then in here I have my mood board. And then if we go into characters, we've got all of the notes around character. From this point, as I start writing, I'm probably going to add another board here, and I might type out the scenes and move those around as well. So particularly, I love that Millernote has boards within boards. It means that I can section out my projects really easily and not have too much information, but also easily access things like the mood board, the character notes, and all of that kind of stuff, all in the same place. So the board within a board feature of Millernote is one of my favorite things about it. Millernote also has over 100 built-in templates, which makes it really easy to get started no matter what your creative project is. So if you're a writer, you can use it for character profiles. If you want to go into a little bit more depth here than I did, you can follow their novel mood board template, novel planning templates, research templates. There's so many useful templates. Just ready to go, perfect for your creative project. It's also really easy to share Milanote with collaborators if you're working with someone else on the story as well. So you can use this to get feedback from other people or brainstorm with others, and you can easily use that to collaborate with people in real time on the same boards. Milanote is a very accessible and easy tool to use. I find it so helpful in planning my stories, and it is also available for free with no time limit. Sign up with the link in the description to start your next creative project. Now that we are all done with the planning of this story, there's no cool Project Changeling. Maybe we'll just call it Project Changeling, who knows? I don't have a title for it yet. The Changeling story. I'm gonna try and get 300 words written on this story. My goal for this year is to find more time for short stories. I only wrote one last year, and I think the way I'm gonna try and tackle that is just with very, very small word count goals. So we're gonna try for 300 words on this story, just a very, very introductory piece of text. I don't know what the voice of this story is gonna be. It's set in 2024 in Australia, and so that's a very different voice to Project Teacup, which will be difficult to brainstorm. I'm gonna do my best. Office has changed its new default theme, and so the font is different and the colors are different, and I'm not a fan. It's very upsetting. I always write everything in Garamond anyway, but what have you done to Calibri? Where has it gone? What the fuck is Aptos? This is not my default font. One of the questions I get asked a surprising amount, even though I've spoken about it quite a bit, is what word processor I use, and I just use Microsoft Word. Like, I've used it my whole life. I've always had access to Microsoft Word, and so that is the program that I'm most comfortable in. One of the things that I do is that I use OneDrive to sync everything across my devices, and so everything is auto-saved. I can use my tablet or my laptop or my computer or my phone to just like log into anything at any point, edit things. It means that I can access my stories no matter where I am, no matter what device I have. And so obviously not Spawn or anything, but that's just what I do, and that's the easiest for me. However, every now and then it's faulty. Every now and then it doesn't load, and so I just like try to make sure that I've got everything loaded up before I head to the library or head to a cafe. One of the things that I need to get better at in 2024 is forcing myself to go outside and to get out of my apartment and to be amongst people. And I've spoken about this so much, but it's one of like the big struggles of being self-employed is that like you end up spending a lot of time at home by yourself. And I've been quite fortunate because Tyler's been here, my partner's been working from home, so I have someone with me. But the thing is that I want to get better at forcing myself to go to the library, to go to a cafe, and sometimes just like going to a cafe, just giving yourself the promise of a nice treat is enough to get you out into the world. And the reason why that's significant is because at the end of last year, I was so focused on my work and on, you know, YouTube videos, YouTube editing, my content work and querying, and I just kind of got into some bad habits with just like being at home all the time. And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over chapter 8, sort of setting up what I want to do today, and then I'm going to quickly grab lunch and then we can go head out to a cafe. I'm excited about this chapter. It's a fun one. It's not going to be too difficult. So let's get some editing work done on chapter 8. I am all done with work for today. It's just ticked over 6 p.m. and I mentioned that I was going to tell you guys a little bit about my goals for this year, my writing goals, the things I want to achieve. One of the things I want to achieve from a work and creativity perspective is actually being more stringent about finishing work at a reasonable time, finishing work at like 6 p.m. and ensuring that that is the time that I clock off for the day and not letting it kind of like creep up and me working more hours than I should. And so one of my really big goals for this year is to have better work-life balance, and I'm actually planning on doing less this year than I have before. I think because I came out of the end of last year so burnt out and so emotionally drained, and I just didn't have the energy to sit down and write myself this massive laundry list of goals, which is what I normally do every year. Normally I say I'm going to write this many articles, I'm going to try and submit to this many competitions or this many magazines with short stories and non-fiction, and I'm going to do this and this, and then I have all these goals for YouTube and content and work stuff and all these miscellaneous things. And so I generally every year end up with like a big Notion document of stuff I want to achieve. And this year I was like, I don't want to do that. Like I think that that's one of the wonderful things that came out of last year, that we had so many amazing wins from a work perspective, from a writing perspective. Getting a literary agent is no small thing. And so I think because the last couple of years have been so prosperous for my self-employment stuff and my writing stuff, I think it means that I can this year, you know, just like clock off at 6 p.m. and actually like make more of an effort to prioritize exercise and just generally getting a better work-life balance. And then in terms of my other writing goals, my big focus this year is to, of course, get Project Teacup submitted to publishers. I have no idea when this year that will happen, so I've not put any timelines on that. I'm just going to do my best to make the best book that I can. I don't think I mentioned this in the last vlog I did, because I think the last like actual writing vlog I did was like a month ago, but I had a meeting with my agent and it went really well, and she's really excited for like all of the edits that I'm going to be doing, and overall I just feel really excited for this year. I feel really excited for the edits that are happening on Project Teacup. A lot of them are challenging edits. Like obviously I'm having to look at the things that like need to be improved with the story, and the reason why those things needed to be improved in the first place is because I have skills to develop in those areas. So Project Teacup, I want to get at least draft 1 of Project Spiegel Tent done this year. I'm hoping to write 2 short stories, and then from a writing perspective, that's what I want to achieve, and anything on top of that is going to be a bonus. We're going to be going on a little trip to Europe, and I've never been to Europe before, so I'm very excited for that. I think that because I've just recently come out of sickness, I'm in a really, really good mood. Like I feel great. I feel so healthy and happy and just excited for everything. I loved doing the workshop I did the other day. I'm hoping that I can do more events like that this year, and I'm probably going to make a few more Project Teacup vlogs along the journey of doing draft 6. I think draft 6 is going to be finished around March, April sort of time. So we'll see how we go with that. We'll see how many vlogs I can do on the writing of this particular draft. For the rest of the evening, I'm basically going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV. I am almost up to date. I think I am 350 hours deep into that game, and I'm almost up to date on the most recent expansion. For anyone who does play Final Fantasy XIV, I got through the level 88 like quest arc. If you know, you know. And God, I cried so I haven't cried that much while playing a video game ever. I love the story of the last two expansions. I think that this game is so brilliant. Like, the narrative design is just excellent. And so I've been putting a lot of hours into Final Fantasy XIV recently, and I've been loving it. We're gonna organize dinner and I'm gonna play Final Fantasy XIV, and that's gonna be the rest of my day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of laid back day in my life, just a very usual average day on a day where I'm doing a lot of writing work. Also, before I go, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone over on Patreon for supporting my channel and all the things that I make. By the time this video goes live, that workshop, that hour-and-a-half long video should be up for the Wyvern tier. We have so many things over on Patreon, from our Discord server to our book club. So if you want bonus content from me, or if you just want to support my work, there is a link to Patreon in the description down below. Take care everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.